Hey guys, Veronica here. So I've gotten a few questions about potatoes lately, and specifically growing potatoes, and I wanted to walk you through what my process is this year because as you can see next to me here, it seems to be working effectively. So when you live in a place that has heavy soil like I do, lots of rocks and clay, really just kind of hard packed in the ground, it's very difficult to grow root vegetables, but specifically potatoes, because they either need to be able to send more of their roots down to create more tubers, or you need to be able to hill the soil up on top of them so that they can continue to produce tubers along the shoots as the plant grows up. The way that I've decided to remedy this year is by growing potatoes in feed bags. Now I have access to a lot of feed bags because even though most of our animals are free range, we supplement their feed so that they have a very varied diet and are getting proper nutrition. Now these feed bags are made out of like a polyethylene material. It's sort of plasticky, it doesn't decompose quickly, and it usually ends up in a landfill because it's not recyclable. It is fairly tightly woven so that it keeps all of the grain in the bag, but the nice thing about it is that the weave is not so tight that water can't escape. So I decided to use these feed bags this year in the hopes that we'll actually get some potatoes to harvest later on in the summer. So all I do, and you can see there's some weight to this one already, is I'll put about 6 to 8 inches of compost in the bottom of this bag. And then what I'll do is I'll roll down the sides and basically just roll it down to where the soil line starts. Now if you're planting potatoes in the ground, you do need about 6 to 8 inches of workable soil. I know people do it in hay bales, there's like all kinds of different methods. Hay bales are food around here, so I'm using the resources that I have that are kind of, whatever's left over for the garden. And so you can see, now I have this rolled down to my soil line. Now, if you've ever kept a potato in a dark cabinet or your pantry or whatever for a little too long and forgot about it, it may end up looking something like this. And that's a potato that you can plant. So if you like the variety that you find in the back of the cabinet, and it's not like squishy and oozing and smells bad, but it's just sprouted, go ahead and plant that. Now these guys I picked up the other day at the hardware store when I went to get irrigation parts because they were 75% off. So it was like $1 for seed potatoes, maybe $1.50. And I got some purple ones, and I got some red ones, and I got these white ones. And so I'll probably put maybe 2 or 3 of these in each bag. And all you want to do is just kind of dig down into this compost and then put your seed potato down in there and then bury it. And you want to make sure that your potato or any potatoes that are visible always stay buried at least an inch. You don't want it exposed to sunlight because that'll start to kind of degrade the seed. And so I'll just bury these guys down in there, just like that. And then you'll see there's still the little vine pieces, the plant pieces sticking out where it already sprouted. I might bury some of that as well. Basically, as the potato grows and you continue to bury these stem pieces, little nodes are going to start forming. Let's see if I have one to show you. They'll start forming along the stem of that potato. And I lost it. But this one's not too bad of an example. And so you can see there's like all of these little growth nodes, and they'll kind of spread out in the soil, and then potatoes just form on those spots. We had some okay luck with a few potatoes I found in the garden while I was cleaning it up at the beginning of the spring, which is what inspired me to try and do this again. They were kind of small and weird shaped because, of course, we have clay soil, but I think that by using compost in bags, in these feed bags, that's going to be loose enough and stay loose enough and retain enough water throughout the season that we might actually get some decent potatoes. So if you decide to do potatoes at home, and a lot of times they'll tell you, cut it in half or make sure a piece has an eye on it. When you're doing that, because I have a few of those as well, some yams and stuff I got from the farmer's market. So cut pieces, make sure your pieces are not really smaller than like an inch or 2. Like these are both good sized pieces. You can see there's a little bit of sprouting happening, so I know I can plant these and they'll probably produce. And you want to make sure too, when you cut it, to leave the end that you cut facing up somewhere to dry for a day so that it scabs over. If you leave it facing down, or if you don't let it scab over, what's going to happen is you'll get stuff like this. And these are pieces that I trimmed off of a couple of other potatoes of the yams that I want to plant. And so you'll get, if you see anything that's like moldy, any like mold forming, then you don't want to plant that because it's just going to be a rotten potato sitting in a bag of dirt. But like this guy, he's scabbed nicely and he's ready to plant. So these guys are planted. Now, as the potatoes grow, what I'm going to do is, you can see I have this like single irrigation on each one. It's an experiment. It's always an experiment. But what I'm going to do as they grow, I'll pull this guy out so I can show you. It's all wet. Is I will continue to bury the greens with some extra compost. And so I'll just bury these leaves, like right up to the top leaves, but bury the stems. And the stems will then, again, send out these little side shoots, and then you'll get more potatoes off of that. Now, I don't want to do more than 2 or 3 in a bag because, again, like they're going to send out all these side shoots. So then you're going to have just like a lot of really crowded potatoes competing for resources. All you really need in these bags is probably like 2 or 3 seeds to get going. Just to kind of hedge your bet, increase your odds, but also not overwhelm your container. What else? Oh, so I have these guys sitting in a partially sunny area. A lot of times they'll tell you, like seed companies will tell you, do potatoes in full sun. Full sun here is a little bit dangerous for anything that might dry out or essentially cook in the sun, because in the summertime our temperatures will get up to like 115 for the better part of the day and not really cool off super significantly at night. So I want to give these guys the best shot that I possibly can, which is why they get a little bit of shade and try and stay just slightly cooler. If I start to see that that's an issue, then they might get moved into a sunnier spot, and I'll run, you know, another piece of irrigation or something to help make sure that they do a little better. But they seem to be doing just fine here in partial sun right now. So fingers crossed that all of this is the right choice for these potatoes. That's pretty much it as far as growing them. Like, they do need really loose soil. I'm just doing it in straight compost because that's what I have access to. That's, you know, it's like it stays fairly loose once it's been screened through. I'm using a 1/2 inch by inch screen. It's just some hardware cloth that's like stapled to a frame. And they get watered with these drippers. I have 1 drip per bag. It's 0.46 gallons per hour. So they're getting about 1/2 gallon of water every couple of days or so. And as we get into the summer, you know, I'll keep an eye on the greens and see, does it look like they need more water or not? It's like any other plant where if you look at the greens, you can tell based on the health and how perky the greens are, like whether or not that plant needs water. But these guys are looking pretty good right now. So that's it for potatoes. If you have any more questions about this process, the method to my madness, please leave them in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button if you want more weird gardening experiment videos from me. And as always, follow me on Instagram at FlavorKit, because that's where a lot of this stuff is going down. I do daily stories, just kind of, you know, the various behind the scenes in the greenhouse and garden. There's lots more of farm dogs and other animals. So until next time, happy gardening.